Hi, Krista. How you doing? I got your work up right here. Sort of theme through a whole game. Yeah, this is obvious. I mean, you've been working very, very hard. I really think it's very, very obvious that you've been working hard. I think you understand this assignment a little deeper than some of our classmates because you're really, really developing this relationship between the viewer or the spectator and the actual graphics package depicting the event itself. So I think that you're really understanding that the underlying meaning and the underlying objectives behind the project here, which is not just creating a logo and placing it on things. And I think that you're well aware of that. It's very obvious and apparent through your work. So great job. Okay, so you've got your background information here, your setup, your story, as it were. And we'll be talking about this coming week, and we'll be talking about developing that story into a visual, compelling story, as well as a compelling visual story as well, complete with a logical cadence and good sequencing and good timing, as it were. Okay, so we talk about this week's final presentation of our phase 3 design development, and I think that it's good. I think what we have is good. And I talked about all this in critique board, so be sure to review those comments. But this is fantastic. I love the textures and the patterns and the richness and the depth and how deep this really goes. It's gorgeous. I talked a little bit about areas here and here, so be sure to review those. But, and I talked about this too. I don't know if I mentioned this in the video, but in the critique, but if we take a look at this right here, I wouldn't put these textures in the type itself, because as you can see, when you back down at a distance, it impedes readability and it almost looks like there's a mistake going on there. So I would reconsider that. These are fantastic. I love the double banners. Those are great. I would love to see a version of this on a darker background. That way you can take an image of several banners in a row and stagger them. So you have one light background, one dark background, and so on and so forth. So this is very, very clever. We have the two-sided banner that kind of converges into one. So that's really clever. Love this graphic here. This is great. Excuse me. Right here. This is really fantastic. I see you've used it and it works wonderfully right here. Just gorgeous. So that's a really nice job there. Now, a couple of other things. I'd like to see a little bit more digital work. Yeah, you're right in here. I mean, I would expect to get 100 on this submission. But that said, I would like to see more of stuff like this. Environmental graphics, large-scale building graphics, event tickets, website, apparel, print programs, banners, kiosks, arena graphics, vehicle wraps. A lot of this you have. Sporting events graphics, posters, digital media. So one thing we don't see is there's not a whole lot of interaction between the actual athletes themselves and your graphics package. In other words, we don't see any skiers or hockey players, or we see this, but that's all we have right there. And you got the bib, but I'd like to see the background images, maybe some this with the sled going by, or even just things where the actual athletes are interacting with the graphics package itself in terms of visual presentation anyway. So you got a lot of really clever stuff here. I think one really cool thing was one of our classmates had submitted packaging for concessions for food, burgers, pop, and drinks, and fries. I thought that was really clever. A sandwich package, a fries package, and a soft drink package. That's really, really, really creative. So, the mind is the limit here in your creativity. So, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've been talking all morning, as I do every morning. So every day around noon or so, I find my voice kind of going a little bit. So I take a break, have a cup of coffee, and I finally come back later on at 1 o'clock or so. So anyway, I apologize for that. But so great job. I would here's your grading rubric. So I've got this kind of state of the event paragraph up here, and then I would expect to get 100 here, because I think that you're not quite where we need to be for a final presentation, but you are certainly meeting the criteria within the grading rubric. All right, fantastic job. Any questions, please let me know. Thanks, Krista.